Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How about you, man?
Hi.
Good.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're very happy that you can join us today.
Yeah, thanks for asking me.
Yeah, man. These are my co-hosts, Kate and Calissa. Before we
Hi.
Hi.
before we
How's it
dive
going?
Nice to
in,
meet you.
You too.
yeah. Teen Wolf, man, it's 10 years old, and we're going back through all the episodes and talking
Yeah.
to everyone we can. And
I saw like some people starting to post posts like when it was the 10-year, the first episode. I was just like, wait, what? It's been 10 years?
Yep, it's
Crazy.
been a while. It has
Yeah.
been a while, but hey, I mean, we got to enjoy it, and we're gonna re-enjoy it now. And again, thank you for joining us to talk about something we all love.
Yeah, of course. Happy to.
Awesome, awesome. All right, well, let's dive in. So, so what was your inspiration to become a stunt person?
Well, I come from a free running parkour background. I started back when I was in like late high school, college-ish. A buddy of mine, and this was like pre-YouTube. Um, we just came across what's called martial art tricking. And it's guys like using martial arts and flipping around. And we just got obsessed with it and started training in the backyard. And then I kind of stepped away from the martial art part and just focused on flipping and got into free running and parkour, which then took me to LA to get into stunts. I found out about stunts and decided to move to LA and give it a shot. And then I got even more obsessed with parkour and actually ended up competing in it for a couple of years.
That's
That's
really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super fun. And then I came back to stunts. I got my first big job, and then that kind of took me back into stunts.
Will, you're on mute.
Yep, I'm muted. Did you know people in the stunt world like tangentially, or were you just like moving to LA and we're making it happen?
Well, I was trying to figure out something to do like with my life. So I was going to college at the time, but I wasn't actually going to college. I was just training all day, every day. And stunts was one of the things that I just kind of randomly came across. I found like some demo reels of some people, saw them doing stuff. I was like, oh, I could do that, sure. And then a friend of mine that I was training with was friends with a guy who had just moved to LA to get into stunts. And I talked with him on AIM Instant Messenger a little bit. And then just moved and made it happen, I guess.
Hey man, if you
Awesome.
believe it, it'll happen, I guess. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
What kind of training do you have to go through to become a professional stunt performer?
There's nothing like super specific. There are like some stunt schools. Like a buddy of mine actually runs this one school called SPA, Stunt Performers Academy, out of LA. And I teach a parkour section for him. I'd say for like brand new people, something like that is a good start. It just kind of like teaches you about stunts, but there really is no like criteria. Like over in the UK, they have like a registry, and you actually have to like get passed by these different like boards. You have to get a pass in like 3 or 4 different categories before you can actually work as stunts. And out here, there's nothing like that. But everyone should train in fights. That's just like kind of like a good base of everything. You should have good air awareness. So some sort of acrobatics like gymnastics or parkour or like skateboarding or something like that. It's good to give you that air awareness.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And then just being tough and being able to get the crap kicked out of you.
Yeah, you got to take a lot of fake punches that might be real punches sometimes. So yeah. Oh wow, so cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is a little bit of a left turn, but given that you've done stunts within both the Marvel and DC universes, I would like to present the great question of our age: Marvel or DC?
I've just done a little bit of DC and a lot of Marvel, but even if I hadn't, Marvel all the way.
The only answer. So well done, sir. This whole podcast was a test. You have passed. We will continue the interview now.
Awesome.
Are there any stunts you wouldn't be willing to do, like anything like involving heights or anything that you just would want to stay away from?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one. Like, it's really just if somebody asked me to do something that I thought I might die doing, I would say no to. But
It's a good
I
rule.
Yeah.
think it's something particular. Like if I got asked to do like a horse stunt, I've never really ridden horses, so I would say no to that just because I don't have that skill set. So I guess really just something like that. It was
Gotcha.
yeah, it's really like situation to situation, because also somebody could be like, hey, I just want to like flap you over the back of a horse and you fall off. I'd be like, okay. I mean, I don't ride horses, but that sounds easy. Sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. Have you done any work with decelerators, like just that the
Yeah.
free fall, slow down stuff?
Yeah. Those things are awesome.
Okay.
They used to do them with it was just a big fan,
Yeah.
had like resistance, and so then when you fell, it just unwinded and give you resistance. And now we have these amazing decelerators that work off like air cylinders.
Okay.
So do you know what a ratchet is?
Yeah. Mhm.
So a ratchet, and just for anybody else, it's where like you're on a wire, like somebody like shoots you with a shotgun and you just go and get flung back, and it's a pneumatic device that just sucks a rod in and then flings you. And so we actually use a ratchet and the cylinders that fire the ratchet and basically set it up so that you free fall and then you just set where you want it to be and you land on a cushion of air the last whatever you deem it to be. So if you were falling like 100 feet, you'd probably hit that cushion of air at like 20 feet. So it'd be total free fall, and then you hit it. But they can take you to the ground, which is really cool.
That's incredible.
I
That's fun.
remember
And terrifying sounding.
very
to me.
terrifying. There's a stunt
Yeah.
in Mission Impossible 3 where Tom Cruise is on top of a very tall wall and just rolls off of it. And he's got a wire on him that's part of the movie, and he goes all the way down and then right to the ground, and you actually see him hit the ground and
Yeah.
come back up. And it was just like, I mean, Grant, he's gonna kill himself one day, and it'll look glorious. But yeah, I don't think. I mean, I don't have the stomach for stunts in any way, shape, or form. But if anyone was like, we're gonna throw you off a building, and a machine is gonna slow you down so you don't die, I'd be like, I'm going home right now. So
That is a no from
There's a lot of like safety backups to it too. Like you would kind of tie a knot in the system at an absolute bottom, so you can't just fully splat into the ground.
my God.
splat.
Splat into the ground. Oh my God.
That's the technical term.
I
They
think
stops you
there's
from splatting.
they're safer than high falls. You know, high falls were the thing for the longest time, where you just freely jump and then you land in an airbag or boxes, which they still do, but I just don't see much of a need for that sort of thing anymore. It's so dangerous, and you need to be so highly skilled. And even if you are, it's still so dangerous because there's just so much error,
Mhm.
and you can get just as good of performance, if not better, out of a decelerator.
Yeah.
That it kind of seems silly not to use one now.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. How did you find yourself in Beacon Hills doubling Teen Wolves?
But started on season 2. It was, so we have stunt coordinators. So it's like who my boss would be. He's the guy who hires me, and he just like puts together and runs all the stunts, he or she. And so the stunt coordinator starting on season 2 is Gary Stearns, and I had just worked with him on The Amazing Spider-Man. He was the fight coordinator, so we knew each other like super well, and I made a really good double for Tyler. And he was just like, "Hey, you want to come out and work on this show, Teen Wolf?" Which we had no idea what it was. We were just like, "Sure, we'll like work with these, and they'll probably cancel it, and whatever." Come out to Atlanta. I went out to Atlanta, worked season 2, and then it turned into 6, right?
Yeah.
Seasons.
Yeah. 5 years later.
Yeah.
That's
Crazy.
awesome. That's so cool.
It's fun.
How physical does the scene have to be before for a stunt performer to step in instead of an actor doing it?
Really depends. There's some actors that are just like literally can't walk in a straight line, and so like I know it sounds silly, but like sometimes you'll even just step in doubling to run, something as simple as that. And there's also some actors that are amazingly physical, like Tom Holland is insanely physical. Actually, Tyler Posey is really physical too. So like when we did Teen Wolf, Tyler did a lot of the fight scenes, and he would be rolling on the ground and throwing himself down and doing all that, and he was amazing with it. So yeah, there's such a big spectrum.
That's really cool. Did you do any of the quadruped running for Tyler?
Yeah. Yeah, I did all that stuff.
Very cool.
Started from season 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did a few different ways.
Nice. Very cool. Did y'all ever do I don't think we did it on the show, but where they would have a car pulling like a long rug essentially that you then ran on, but the rug was below frame, so it looks like you're zipping. Did we ever do stuff like that?
Not on that show. It's called
Okay.
The Magic Carpet.
Okay.
Yeah, we never did any Magic
Good
Carpet stuff
name.
on that show.
Okay.
It does work really well. It's super cool.
It looks fantastic if you want to have someone actually running, because they're running on the carpet and the carpet's already being pulled fast by a car. So it's all in frame. Nothing is happening, through, there's no special effect other than someone's just running really fast, being pulled really fast.
I think it was one of the Captain Americas had like the best example of it, I think.
Nice.
And it was just him running on a magic carpet with a bunch of people running normal next to him, and he just looks so superhuman. It just worked out so well.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Is it the on your left scene? That scene?
No, that's when he was running on the track, wasn't it?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
This was like, I think it was like a battle scene, and he's just like, I think they're like in a field.
Yeah, I think they did that for the end, for the final battle in Infinity War, where it's like he and I think Black Panther are both running ahead of everybody else. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So simple, so cool.
Nice.
Nice.
It's funny because sometimes like the simplest thing actually works really well. You think you need to make it really complicated, but you don't.
Yeah. Nice.
That is really cool. And also, I would like a stunt performer to run for me anytime I am expected to run. I also can't run in a straight line, but more importantly, I don't want to run. And I would like to hire a double to do that for me.
It's great. It gets you out of running and gives somebody a job.
There you go. Let me know if you know anyone.
Win-win.
They would need to be extremely small. That's going to be the biggest issue, 5 feet.
We'll get Caitlin to shell for you, and no one will notice. It'll be seamless.
Seamless. Like, basically twins.
Exactly. So. It's like, why is Kate turning into Wonder Woman when she runs? What's happening over here?
Yeah, my body type is more the wasp, but without just the little part, when she's little. Sorry. Do you have a favorite episode of Teen Wolf, either as a performer or as a viewer?
I think I was thinking about this one. I don't know which episode it is, but we did an episode where it was just like this massive Oni fight scene. It was like Onis with everybody. Mm-hmm. And that was really cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which.
I wish I knew exactly.
Would that be a particular someone's death scene? Or was it the one in the snow garden?
No. It's the one that you're talking about, the particular someone's death scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember like that location super well and everything too.
Yeah.
Insatiable.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure. Yes. I believe you.
Was a really incredible scene.
Yeah, it was fantastic because it's one big fight scene, but it's like 4 or 5 little fights all happening together that all have their own choreography, and you see the stuff happening in the background for like, you jump in, I think like Isaac's there fighting, and then you see someone else fighting in the background behind them. So there's so much happening on all these different like kind of planes of view and all that. It's a wonderful scene, very sad, but wonderfully executed.
Yeah, super cool, super fun.
Yes, very nice. What was working on Teen Wolf like compared to other shows like, say, Revenge or NCIS or Supergirl?
Like all those shows were just, I worked a day, a couple days, maybe a week, and Teen Wolf was the whole run of it. Mm-hmm. So as far as like a TV show goes, the difference for me was like Teen Wolf. When you work on the run of a show as like a stunt performer, like you kind of become part of the crew, part of the family. And when you work just as a day player, you're just kind of like visiting for the day and like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
But as far as like the way the shows run, I mean, every show's got its own way, its own thing, but they're all pretty basically similar across the board.
Cool. Very cool.
There's a lot of crossover with Teen Wolf and Vampire Diaries fans. Could you tell us a little bit about the 2 episodes you worked on for Vampire Diaries?
Yeah, the one episode I was doubling, I forget his name, it's the kid from Dawson's Creek. It's David something. I forget his name. But it was the first time they were introducing werewolves, like ironically.
So,
nice.
And, I think that was before I did Teen Wolf. I got brought out to Atlanta for like a week. And it was like this hybrid werewolf thing. And so he turns into it and actually did some of the loping on there, and he goes some fighting, and then he dies, I think. Do I need to say spoiler alert?
Nah.
That's fine.
Then the other episode, the guy who normally doubles the lead on the show was busy with something, and I just got brought out for a day and he got punched in the face.
Very cool.
That's so interesting. It's like you're like, I can just imagine you like flying to Atlanta and you're just chatting with the person next to you. It's like, oh, I'm going there for business. Oh, what do you do? I get punched in the face for a living. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Nice.
That's cool. Interesting. Yeah. So did that mean that you were becoming the werewolf specialist and that's why you got brought on for Teen Wolf? Because they were like, this person can play werewolf for sure.
No, that does happen, but it was just complete coincidence.
Nice.
I'm wondering who it was who was on Dawson's Creek. As far as I'm concerned, Dawson's Creek has two people in it, Joshua Jackson and people who are not Joshua Jackson. So I'm going to assume this was like the latter, but...
It was, or maybe it was Seventh Heaven. It was the younger boy. Maybe it was
David
Seventh
Gallagher
Heaven.
from Seventh
Yeah.
Heaven.
Yeah, it was Seventh Heaven.
Oh.
I guess similar-ish show.
We've watched a couple episodes of that to do commentary for the Tyler Hecklin episodes of Seventh Heaven. It's an experience.
It is an experience.
Yes,
That is
it
a good way to
is.
put it. Yeah.
It is.
How does the stunt department work with other departments such as makeup and special effects?
It would depend on the show, but like a show like Teen Wolf, it's very, very closely worked together. Like, because all the stunt people are always going to be in makeup special effects, and so we kind of would communicate with each other. It would be like the stunt coordinator and then the head of special effects makeup would coordinate with each other and just be like, hey, like I got this guy, just make sure he works for you. Or, hey, I got this prosthetic, make sure it works for you. And you kind of just check in with each other. And same thing with wardrobe and hair and makeup and all that. Like, just making sure everything's going to work. Like if you're going to get hit by a car, then you don't want to be in short sleeves and shorts. So the stunt coordinator will talk to wardrobe and just make sure that it's something that fills you out and you had pads under and whatnot. And maybe wardrobe has some like very specific wardrobe that like is intricate to the show. So then it would be like, hey, this is what I have. Like, I want to let you know and make sure you can work with it.
Nice. Do you, when it comes to like working with like the wardrobe department in advance, like when they're deciding on, I guess, like the costume for a particular character, I mean, are y'all, I guess like the or stunt performers and maybe the stunt coordinator, like they're like in that process of figuring out the costumes to be like, hey, we're doing some wire work, so we got to have something that'll work with pick points and all that, so we're not destroying these clothes or whatever.
Yeah, the hope is that, I mean, it doesn't always end up working out that way, but the hope is that you would know and you would say that. You'd be like, hey, we're doing wires, I'm gonna cut holes, like you probably want doubles or triples.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
What kind of steps did Teen Wolf take to protect the stunt doubles and make sure everything was safe for you guys?
So a lot of that's like on the stunt coordinator, and we would just make sure we had a big array of pads to use whenever we could. Same sort of thing like wardrobe, making sure that you can hide pads underneath the clothes when you need to. Rehearsals, we would do rehearsals when we needed for different scenes, just to make sure that we could do it to the best and make sure it was safe. A lot of that sort of stuff. Like I say, Jeff Davis was really awesome. Like he provided me when I was doing the Canema with a cooling suit that I could wear underneath it because it was just so insanely hot.
Yeah, I think
Eric told us a little bit about that story, and there was a little bit of a malfunction with it, he said at one point.
Oh yeah, that was
it happens.
It was super cool. It was like this vest that pumped cold water, but yeah, I'm sure Eric told you how it sprung a leak, and I was just like, cold.
So outside of it being incredibly hot, what was it like to wear the Canema costume?
Miserable, but the character was cool, and it was really fun being the character. It took 5 hours to get into it, and prosthetics. and it's just glue on your entire face, on your entire neck, and then you just have this thing glued to you. So anytime you move in any direction, it just pulls somewhere really uncomfortably. And then they had to like put in the teeth, and then they had to like squirt this black stuff in my mouth all the time just to like for the look. And it was probably the most miserable thing I've worn, but it was really cool. Like I remember once they got me all in it, 5 hours to get in, and we like finally finished. And like literally the second we finished, somebody came in and was like, "Hey, they cut the scene or they moved the scene, so we're gonna wrap you." And I was like, no.
Oh no.
I'm gonna go mess with people. I just spent 5 hours getting in this thing. And then I think the first thing I did was I had a PA go tell Tyler Posey that they needed him on set, and I hid underneath his trailer. And so then they pulled him out to set, and I just jumped out at him, and he jumped like 10 feet into another trailer.
That's
amazing.
awesome.
That is
Oh,
awesome.
that's so good.
Him and I were tight, so it was like okay to do that.
Nice. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Yeah, you went through the whole process. It's not like, well, just get me out of it, I guess, and we'll go home. And my God.
I'm using this
You earned at least a prank for
Yes.
for 5 hours.
at least.
Absolutely.
Did he ever get you back for that one?
No, I don't think so.
Aw.
He should have.
Nice. How are you with live casting? Are you claustrophobic and stuff like that, or were you, easy
Actually,
breezy?
I've never been live casted. So like the reason I was doing Canema was I was out there doubling Tyler,
Right.
and what's his face that was playing him? I forget his name.
Colton?
Yeah, Colton. He was allergic to the prosthetics, so
Oh
he
no.
just couldn't wear it. They
wow.
put it on him, and he just crazy rashes. So I was already out there, and they were like, "Okay, you're gonna be the Canema now." And so then they put me in it, but they already had all the prosthetics made and everything, so I just wore his prosthetics.
Nice. Wow, right.
So it was made for his face.
Yeah.
So you're just pulling a Hannibal Lecter on it, just like putting Colton Haynes' face over your face.
Pretty much.
There
Cool.
you go. Nice. So in season 2, as we've talked about a little bit right here, in season 2, you doubled for Tyler Posey, which you did for the remainder of this series, and you played the Canema. Can you talk us through kind of like what those 2 jobs were like?
I mean, they're both stunts, but they were very different characters. Like in stunts, whether you're doubling somebody or playing someone or playing yourself or whatever, there is still like a character to it. So it was just figuring out moving differently, how the Canema would move and how the Canema would fight, and figuring out how Scott, Tyler's character, would move and fight, and just kind of separately planning those 2 out and just treating it as like almost 2 separate jobs.
Right.
Is what it felt like.
Nice. Very nice. Did you ever have to do both in the same day?
Sometimes we would have to have somebody else double Tyler so that I could be the Canema. I did once double on season 2. I doubled like a lot of people because Atlanta wasn't very built up yet.
Mhm.
So I ended up doubling a lot of characters at some point. And there was one scene where I think I doubled Tyler first, like running and jumping over a fence. And then I doubled Tyler Hecklin following him over the fence. It was like
Very cool.
Cuts, so it was like 2 separate scenes.
That's awesome.
That's
That's so
hilarious.
cool. Have to keep an eye out for that. That's cool.
Did you get to keep any props from the show?
I stole it, but I have
That's how one gets props, it seems like.
Yes.
there's one scene where Tyler, I forget what season it was, but he like punches through this wall and saves somebody. There's a lot of stuff. Did a lot of stuff.
He was
like
always
Deaton.
saving people. So
Yeah,
I think it was
probably.
Deaton.
Yeah.
that. But the wall was like really cool. It's made out of this like cool, like rubbery stuff, and it just like broke into pieces. I grabbed one of those pieces, so I've got that.
Nice.
And then Eric and the guys, they gave me one of the Canema faces. They actually put it on like one of the styrofoam heads for me, and I have that in like a box.
Awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
They gave me the teeth too. I forgot about that.
That's awesome.
Totally done with it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Do you use the teeth for like a cheap Halloween costume? Just like pop in the Canema teeth. Done.
Not for Halloween, but just sometimes around the house. I just kind of feel like, being
Even
the Canema.
better.
And I'll squirt black stuff in my mouth.
Yeah.
I just rub Elmer glue on my face.
What was the black stuff?
He had like what was it in the show or what was it like actually?
No, what was it actually like? What they used? Was it like some sort of? Was it?
Eric can
Yeah.
tell you. I'm not really sure. I have nothing bad.
Did they warn you not to swallow it, or was it?
No,
like
if you
something-
swallow it, you'd be fine. I mean,
Okay.
rather not, but it's something along the lines of what fake blood is. I'm sure,
Oh, okay.
but much thinner.
Nice.
And it's supposed to be like his venom, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Very gross, but
It looked-
awesome.
Yeah. It looked
Yeah.
amazing.
I had this one scene. I felt so bad for Crystal, where she was like hallucinating. So she was hallucinating, like making out with the Kanima. And so I'm like in the Kanima with my teeth, with that black, like squirted a ton of black stuff in me, just kind of like teething her face and just drooling on her. And like after every cut, I'd just be like, I'm so sorry. This is so weird. I'm so sorry. She's like, no, it's fine.
Oh, wow. The trials and
Really-
tribulations of making a supernatural teen show.
Truly dedicated to the craft. There, just like I just couldn't
more
imagine.
on her being dedicated.
So you're credited as stunt coordinator for season 5, episode 17, A Credible Threat. What does that entail?
So that was the coordinator, Gary, I forget what, he was busy with something. So he had me come fill in for him. So he had already put everything together for the scene. I think he did. It was pretty simple. So anyways, there was a couple of people already hired. I came in, I think my leg was actually broken at the time. And just set up some mats and kind of help them set up. I think somebody was jumping off of a bus and then somebody else was like jumping off the side of the bus. That's kind of all I remember of it. But
It's a lot of bus-related activity on Teen
bus-related
Wolf.
stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Bus-related
So-
acrobats.
you need
Acrobatics.
someone there to be in charge of the safety. You need someone there
Supervise.
to like put the supervise the stunts. And so since he was busy and my leg was apparently broken, it's like, you go do it.
well, you could put that on your resume, right? Like, I'm so good at being a stunt coordinator. I did it with one leg broken.
Totally.
Could do it backwards and in heels.
There
if
you go.
need be.
The character of Styles doesn't get to do a lot of stunts, but you are credited as doubling for Dylan O'Brien in the episode Radio Silence. What stunt was that for?
I have no idea. I was trying to figure that out. It's like I do remember doubling him once, but I have no idea what it was for.
Fair enough.
Is
It's
Radio
been a while.
is Radio Silence the one in the train station?
I think so.
Doesn't he get like not? Doesn't he like? Don't they like break down the door into the radio room?
Yeah, I remember
Something like
being in the
that?
train station. And that is when I was doubling him, but I don't remember what we were doing. The door sounds familiar.
It was awesome, whatever it was. So, so this really isn't a question. I just wanted to thank you for being a part of Parks and Recreation, which was a perfect show, and that makes you perfect. So, thank you for your service.
Mhm.
I don't think I ever even did anything on that show, but I love that show. I
So
got hired for
good.
a day and sat there and watched them and laughed and then went home.
My God, that sounds like the best job in the
The best
world.
job.
Right?
Pretty awesome.
Oh man.
I
Oh,
watched that show like a while ago, the first episode,
There it is.
and like couldn't get into it. And then a friend of mine
Nice.
was just like raving about it. I was like, oh, I'll try it again. And then I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And I got hooked.
It's not you. You got to push through that first season. Got to get through those first 6 episodes, and then the show figures out what it is, and it's
I didn't
perfect.
watch the first season.
It's okay. Just start with season 2. You're good. So awesome. Awesome.
What was your most challenging stunt to do on Teen Wolf?
I was trying to think about that one too. There was one that we used an air ram. So it's a pneumatic device, and it's this platform. It's like this. And you run up and you step on it, and it triggers the pneumatics and launches you. And so
Wow.
we did one stunt. This was actually there's a few that are up in the air for it. So we did one stunt the first time with an air ram, and it was when they first introduced the coyote werewolf.
Malia.
Yeah. And so there was a car flipped over in a ditch, like lengthways,
Mhm.
And so I was doubling Scott and ran out and hit the ARM and just launched and cleared the entire car, and then landed in a wolf pose on the other side. I think it ended up being like 20 something feet.
Wow.
And I can go that far in an ARM, but the tricky thing is that I have a car flipped upside down underneath me. So if I come up short at all or anything like that, like I'm stepping into the underside of a car, I'm just gonna break the crap out of my legs. So like we threw mats over top of it, practice it, got it good, and we were okay. And we went to film it. And we took the mats away, and the first one, ARMs are really dangerous and they're really like tricky. And so on the very first one, I was just the tiniest bit hesitant. And so when I stepped on the ARM, I just held back a teeny tiny bit, just enough that in the air, and there's nothing you can do once you're in the air, my hips just started kind of coming out from underneath me. So I'm just like, I step on it and I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, no. And then I just barely cleared the car and then landed on my back.
Ooh.
I think I knocked the wind out of me like briefly for a second. And it was like, okay, not going to do that again. And then we were fine after that.
That sounds rough. Oh my God.
But
it feels
yeah,
like,
oh, sorry, good.
oh, I was just gonna say, it seems like stunts are the type of thing where you can't hesitate. You have to commit because there's so many other moving parts happening. And yeah, so when it comes to like I guess practicing the ARM jumping over the van, are you doing it once and then realizing that, okay, we need to pull the ARM back like a couple of feet, so you're like getting right where you need to be each time, or is it
you dial it with pressure?
Okay,
so
okay, got it.
If I'm not clearing far enough, like we know where we want to jump from, you don't really want to change that. So
Got
just
it.
up the pressure or lower the pressure.
Got it. Very cool.
You just have to be super careful with them, because if you do too much pressure and my body can't handle it, I'll just buckle, and then the ARM will smash me, and you'll just you'll break horribly.
Oh,
they're really cool. They have really cool like applications like that. They're really fun, but they're insanely dangerous, and it's easy to like people will see it and be like, oh, that's cool. Like I want to do that. Like, no, you don't. You really don't.
Oh my God.
So fascinating and also terrifying to learn about the behind the scenes stunts.
Yeah.
Just, wow.
And those things were like the bread and butter, I feel like, of stuntmen in the 80s and 90s. Because anytime there's an explosion, 10 people are being air rammed all over the place.
It's funny because they were huge, and then they just completely died out, and like nobody uses them. And then we did that one stunt on Teen Wolf with it, and they were like, that was awesome. So we ended up using it like 5 or 6 more times.
Yeah. I could see how like wire work might replace that, where you just got a couple of guys, pulling you, and that's giving you the jump, like it's more moving parts, I guess, but it's not like, well, if you hesitate, your leg breaks or something, so.
Yeah, it's more repetitive. I do think for something like that, you can make it look amazing with wires. It's harder to look as good as an ARM, but you can do it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot safer. And you can go further.
Yes, very true. So pros and cons.
Yeah.
When you get a new script, be it for Teen Wolf or another show, what are you looking for as a stunt performer? Like when you're kind of reading when you get when you got the next script for an episode of Teen Wolf, what's your process, I guess, after that point?
Well, as a stuntman, you typically don't get a script.
Okay.
So the stunt coordinator would get the script. The stunt coordinator just reads through it and breaks it down and just looks for these are stunts. I would need this many people. It would take this many days to do it. I need, rehearsals for it possibly. They figure out what sort of adjustment it should get to budget that in, and just kind of break the whole script down according to that.
Nice.
Yeah, typically a stuntman won't get a script. I've been on some runs of movies where they'll give us scripts, and I don't even know if I've ever read any of them, because it's just, to me, it's so irrelevant. It's like somebody else is telling me what to do.
Right. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Was it the same for whenever you were playing the Kanema?
I don't remember. I don't think I got scripts, but I might have. I honestly don't remember.
Gotcha. What was it like doing? Because I know the tail on it was CG.
Mm-hmm.
So was there? I don't know how to exactly phrase this correctly. Anything special you had to do with that? Like, because that tail is always whipping around. It's always kind of like a cat tail when you were just kind of like down on all fours. It's like doing something. Was that something that you had to factor in, or were you like, oh, don't worry about that. Special effects is gonna take that.
I actually spent like a month or two training twerking.
I almost was like, yeah.
Tell us more.
Please go on. Yes.
No, if he like used it to hit something, I would do that motion and incorporate that. But for the general gist of it, no, they did a really good job. Just
Yeah.
CG'd it.
Nice.
It looks great.
The whole suit looks fantastic. Like just always awesome looking because it's so tactile and real. It's not a CG creation. I mean, yeah, it has CG elements, like the tail and and the other things, but it's just when you see it on camera, you're like, that's the person right there in a suit looking badass in this scene in the rain, so it looks so good. So good.
Yeah, all the departments, they did such a good job with it. It was really cool. Like I said, it was miserable to wear, but it was really cool to do.
Nice.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
Were the eyes CG or were there contacts with the suit?
At first, there were contacts. There were the big ones that they have to slide up and then down.
The scleroids. Yeah.
Yeah. I hated them, and they were miserable and they were awful. And then finally one day, Jeff, who is like the nicest guy in the world, was like, "You don't have to wear them anymore. I'll just CG it." I was like, "Oh my God, thank you."
I think that was the consensus because the werewolves were also wearing the giant contacts in season 1, right? Will,
and I think a little bit
when
of
they did the yellow
2.
eyes and the red eyes, and and no one likes them. That's the consensus.
No, they're awful.
Not good. I couldn't do that. I have eye issues. That's why I don't wear contacts. I've never worn contacts in my life because I'm just like, I don't want to have to touch my eyeball with something else. So I will stick with glasses. That's fine by me.
Yeah, not fun.
So you worked as a double for Tyler Posey, Tyler Hoechlin, and some other characters on Teen Wolf. Who is your favorite character to double for?
Posey. He was such a great guy. I always tell people that too. Like when they ask about like different Hollywood celebrities, I'm always like, Tyler was just one of the greatest actors I've ever worked with. He was just a guy, like a person. He didn't have like an ego, and he was just super just laid back. Like I remember so many times I'd be doing a stunt setting up to do it, and normally I would just like take my jacket off and throw it in a corner somewhere, and he would just come over and be like, "Oh no, here, I'll hold it for you." And he'd put my jacket while I'm off doing stuff, and he was just really, really cool. So it was just really fun having that relationship with him.
It's wonderful.
It's always nice to hear when like the lead of a show is a good person and not letting it go to their head that I'm a celebrity. Carry me around, PAs.
Yes.
I once randomly, I was out in LA, out in the valley, driving to go get lunch, and I see this guy running across the street to go help somebody push a car that broke down. And I was just like, Tyler? And I shouted out, and it was Tyler Posey. And I ran out, and he had just finished helping this guy push his car across the street, and just caught up with him for a minute. It was just like, I mean, he's a big actor. Like people know who he is, and he's just out there just randomly helping some dude. Like, oh hey, what's up, bro? You need help pushing your car? Let me help you push your car. And that's why he's just a guy. He's like a good person.
Nice. That's wonderful. That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What is it like doing stunts for a movie as opposed to a TV show? Is there a difference?
There is. So typically for a movie, especially nowadays, like you'll have months of rehearsal. So you'll plan the whole movie out ahead of time and rehearse for months. You have a lot more time shooting it. Usually have a lot more budget shooting it, so you can go bigger and do more. And with TV, a lot of times you're shooting in a week and a half, 2.5 weeks. So it's not that much time. If you have rehearsal, it's usually like a day here, a day there. So it is quite different. TV is just more on your toes, more kind of fast paced, and more almost have to be like in a weird way more creative because you don't quite have the budget. But I guess it's a different creativity because you do have the budget. You can be insanely creative on a movie, and just in a different way, you have to be creative on a TV show.
Gotcha.
But some TV shows are becoming movies now, so it's like it's kind of starting to blend together.
Yeah. Maybe on like a TV show, it's with or a project that has maybe a more limited budget. It's more like creative problem solving. It's like we want to do this great stunt. We don't have months to figure it out. We have like a couple of days. Like how do we get the most awesome for our buck type thing? So
yeah,
nice, very nice. Do you have a favorite kind of stunt in general, and do you have a favorite stunt over the course of your expansive career?
Yeah, in general, I like real stunts and just ones where you feel like a badass, I guess.
Nice.
Like I've done some stuff like from helicopters, and like you just feel like I'm not just like falling down or fighting somebody. Like I'm doing a stunt.
Nice.
Stuff like that's fun. I'd say I think my favorite was on Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
It was actually just a rehearsal, but we were trying to swing with a person. And so I hung from a helicopter 50 feet down, and then they took the helicopter up and started doing this with it to get me to get us to swing. So now we're starting to swing, and then just like controlling it. So tapping, shooting a web, tapping, shooting a web, and we got those swings so big and so high that eventually I remember looking at the pilot because I was up parallel with the pilot.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
And it was just probably the most dangerous thing I've ever done in my life. They probably had, usually when you do something like that, they have like a pull cord where if you get tangled up or something like that, they let you go so that you die and nobody else does. So probably the most dangerous thing I've ever done, but man, that was so insanely fun.
Wow.
I was begging to do more. Like I said, it was with another person. I think I swung 3 different people. And then I was like going to the coordinator afterwards, and I was like, hey, like maybe you should let me just go do it myself. Maybe we could like do some swings just for Spider-Man like this. What do you say? It's like, yeah, we gotta go. All right, fine.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
Oh,
That's fun.
couldn't imagine seeing something like that in person, let alone doing it. Like, just as a bystander, I'd be like, that's terrifying.
I hesitate on a rope swing into the lake, you know? So there's no way I could ever do something like that. I'd just be like, nah, no thanks. I'm just gonna go do anything but that, please. So.
So you mentioned that there was an Oni fight scene that you really enjoyed. You're credited for working on the Oni stunts in 3 episodes. What were those kinds of scenes like?
I think they were all just fight scenes. I had a lot of fun doing the Oni stuff. Just like doing flowers with swords and then having these like ninja samurai fights. Which is fun. That stuff's really fun.
It looks fun when you're watching it. So
yeah.
Were you in the Oni costume?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Tyler like didn't have much going on, and they needed another Oni. He didn't have much going on for a few episodes, I guess. So the coordinator was just like, "Hey, want to be an Oni?" I'm like, yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it looks like fun.
There's a fun picture. I think Eric had it of like all the different villains sitting doing different things, and I was the Oni sitting on the chair like in a ninja squat.
Nice.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
I need to see that picture.
Yeah, me too.
We'll have to ask him for that.
Have to ask him about that picture.
Yeah.
We'll find it.
Kate, I think.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that we already asked the other one. Okay. So the Kanima is a really fun monster, but if you could have played any other Teen Wolf villain, which would it be?
So I got to do the Oni. I actually got to do Berserker when Scott turned into Berserker, which was fun.
Oh,
right.
So I would have said that, but I got to do that. The Ghost Riders, I think, would have been fun.
Nice.
Those were cool characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are cool.
Very, very cool.
Would you ever want to return to the world of Beacon Hills if there was ever a reboot or anything
Absolutely. Yeah, it was just such a great experience. Like the whole crew was so cool. We're all just like this big family, and it's one of my favorite jobs I worked on. I miss it pretty often. So I
like
would.
that? So do the
again,
fans.
Yes. Yes.
I would love to do that again in a second.
Nice. Well, hopefully it'll happen. We'll see what happens with Amazon maybe buying MGM. So
Oh,
we'll see. Yeah, Amazon's buying MGM, and MGM has Teen Wolf. So
yeah,
we'll see what Jeff Bezos wants to do.
yeah.
Well, David, are there any upcoming projects you can tell us about?
Nothing I can really talk about. I worked on the new Spidey, but I can't say anything about it.
Gotcha.
I did Red Notice. It's a new, it's with The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. It's like
Oh,
this
nice.
spy action comedy movie. I think that'll be funny.
That sounds awesome. I love that cast. So that sounds fun.
Yeah, I got to double The Rock.
Oh,
Wow.
was it Ryan Reynolds?
No, I was
You
actually
didn't?
I was rigging. I was putting in the wires and
Okay.
doing all
Oh,
that
nice.
things for us. But yeah, that'll be a
Very
cool show.
nice.
We did a bunch of fun stuff on that show.
Nice. Where did that shoot? Was that
It was Atlanta.
oh, okay. Nice. Very cool. Is Atlanta turning into your second home?
Yes. Yes, it is. I'm supposed to be going back out there for another project in like a month or so.
Nice. Very nice. We're very
Awesome.
happy that you're working. So that's
Yeah.
good. Everybody needs to be working.
Yeah. It seems like the industry's really picking up.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So, well, David, this has been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for joining us today to talk about Teen Wolf.
Yeah, it's fun to be here. It's fun to reminisce.
Yes, it was quite wonderful, quite wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much, and we really appreciate it. We've
Yes.
done a number of these interviews so far, and they've all been amazing. It's just been great talking to the cast and crew, and just like you said, reminiscing about this show that means so much to us, and all the kind of blood, sweat, and tears that went into making it and providing it to the world and all the fans. So
Yeah, sure.
it was
Well,
fantastic.
Thanks for doing this, and thanks for having me here.
No, it's our absolute pleasure. We thank you again, and we hope you have a great rest of your night. Okay, man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
too.
for joining us.
All right, bye.
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 That was great.
Had a
We
fun-
definitely need to get more stuntmen. We definitely need, I bet we can get Gary Stearns, and I bet we could get Caitlin Deschelle. So
Oh, I really want to get her.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
that would be fun. So just like, what does like Gal Gadot smell like? You know, what's that like? So I won't ask that question. One of you should ask that question. It'll sound better
Yeah.
coming from a woman. So, all righty.